So today I've got Gavin, who is the winner of the Best Historical Award at Brickslopes 2024. Gavin, tell me a little bit about your build.
So here we have the Fall of Berlin 1945. I've been doing a little weekly mock series, and this was my first two-part mock. The U-Bahn underneath took 1 week, and the city streets above took another. I was very inspired by lots of video games from the Battlefield franchise and from the movie Downfall as well. I think that adds some great scenes of the kind of last hold of the German military in the Volkssturm. For the streets above, I have a T-34-85 here designed by World War II MC, and the Mercedes-Benz and the BMW bike are by Budget Builds in the back there. I really wanted to try and capture a lot of chaos going on in the streets and the overwhelming kind of power that the Soviet forces had. A lot of the civilians in the city were conscripted into the Volkssturm to try and hold the city. So just normal civilians were given weapons or anti-tank rockets as any kind of last-ditch defense to try and hold them back at any last efforts. Down below, a lot of the U-Bahn stations were either flooded for defenses or repurposed into military field hospitals. So I've gone ahead and decided to depict the field hospital side of it. So we have a lot of the Helfrin minifigures and lots of injured guys from different sources like TMC, Brickmania, Angel Bricks, Brick Fabric, etc. Gets a good kind of ragtag look of different eras of uniforms, different camouflages, a lot of just a hodgepodge of last effort. And for the subway underneath, wanted to use a lot of these 1x1 tiles that were on the pick-a-brick wall. They came in handy, and I think they added a nice kind of subtle hints of color into the build without being too vibrant. The entire wall section is going to be covered, and so is the ceiling underneath, along with the lighting. Wanted to get a little bit of a better view for kids, especially coming to shows, so we can see under there. They can see that everything up to the ceiling is going to be tiled off. I did do the subway car myself. It was a lot of inspiration from History Builder Online, who did a trolley car in a similar style. Some other great techniques. These windows up here on the building, they're all snot technique and involve half plate measurements, which are always fun to work in, but getting that white border and creating my own kind of size window frames is always something I like to do. And for the street especially, that's just a ton of 1x1 snot bricks, all just stacked up on top of each other with that little gap kind of giving an almost cobblestone or broken down old world kind of road that you'd see in Europe at the time. One of my favorite places to get textures from was actually Brickmania, and they provided this awesome Soviet era Russian flag. I think it adds a lot to the build and kind of like clearly identifies who's taking Berlin at this point, because the Soviets definitely beat the Americans to it.
You mentioned the attention to detail earlier, and I'm noticing this little droplet of blood here.
Yeah, so for any of the people I have laying dead on the ground, I have custom heads printed for all of them where their eyes are going to be closed or like there's blood coming down. And I think adding just a little bit of extra blood underneath them kind of just adds a little bit of like the pooling, like they've been there for a little bit longer.
You've also got a lot of other builds here.
Yeah, so this is part of a series. So I got a whole timeline of the Second World War going on. I've gotten through about 30 or so of the builds, and I've got 20 more to go, but got the fall of France, outskirts of Stalingrad, Narva, some D-Day mocks, some Pacific, Italy, and Hurtgen, but Berlin's definitely the crown jewel of the collection currently.
Unrelated to your award build, but I'm noticing the wheat here, which just looks like incredible part usage to me.
Yeah, so those are all just the old flower stem molds where it has the 3 prongs on top, but it's the stud on the bottom instead of the bar. Just place a ton of those all around, and the half axle, half pin Technic connectors in tan work really great for a kind of tall grass or wheat field effect to be about minifigure waist height.
Gavin, you're incredibly talented, and I'm seeing a lot of your mocks here, as you mentioned earlier. Lego doesn't really do much military, so I'm curious what got you into that?
So honestly, it was me just kind of like goofing around on my family computer when I was really young, and I stumbled across some old military builds on Flickr, which eventually led me to find Brickmania, and that was kind of like the big open door and the start of the whole military Lego community was right around there, and kind of just spiraled from there, and I just have been building military ever since and trying to get as good as I can.
For someone like me who is not someone who mocks or is rather newer to it, what advice would you have?
Definitely just keep at it. Put lots of time in, even if it's just fiddling around for like an hour and you don't have an objective. Just figuring out different connections, how pieces fit together. Like, hey, like these pieces look like this when I put them together. Maybe I could build off of that. Or even just learning your color palette as well. Knowing what colors go well together, which ones are going to clash, and how to create a good composition overall.
Gavin, thanks for your time, man. I appreciate it. I look forward to seeing you again, all right?
Of course. Thanks for having me.